Alright, today I'm going to show you how to take advantage of the fact that you do not have a shiny piece coming out of your electroforming bath. I have these, for example. Okay. And whenever this happens, I'm like, cool. So I'm going to show you why I do that and how you can take advantage of the salmon, because one of the things that you should realize is the fact that the patina goes into it rather well, and then you can have different layers of texture and different layers of kind of like it's a very unique look. So I'll show it to you. Okay, what you're going to need is a liver of sulfur. It doesn't matter how you make this, just that's all that is, liver of sulfur, and a salmon piece. You're also going to need one of these. Okay, and if you have one of these would be awesome. Okay, this is 6-inch buffer. Okay, if you don't have a 6-inch buffer, you can use bits for your Dremel, okay, like this, to achieve the same look. Okay, I would break down and get a 6-inch buffer though, because it is just endlessly useful with electroforming. Alright, so let's begin. Alright, so these are liver of sulfur. They are completely black, and it's because they've been soaking in liver of sulfur. I usually do that because that way I get the deepest, darkest cracks and crevices available. Okay, so I go rich black every time. Make sure you put them in front of a fan. You'll notice that liver of sulfur loves to be like with circulated air. It becomes a little darker and it almost absorbs better, in my humble opinion, into the metal. Looking for this guy's pair. I think it's this one. So this is a set of earrings. So I'm going to do them at the same time. Alright, so I'm not even brightening these up. I'm going to put them in the liver of sulfur with their salmon look. Okay, then I'm just going to screw that on. Another thing about liver of sulfur, oxygen will make it so it is less effective next time, so make sure you keep it in a sealed jar. Alright, let's talk about polishing compounds. Okay, so this is your standard rouge. So it's basically iron mixed with grease. Okay? So it's pretty good stuff. I use this for my 6-inch wheel. And then I got this other stuff called Zip. And Zip is freaking amazing. And I think this will last you about 10 lifetimes, but I'm not sure yet. So it comes in this big, huge, honking thing. Now what's nice about this is it works really good on the metal, and it keeps your stones safe. I can't say enough. Let's also talk about Dremel versus Fordham. Okay, so this is a Fordham, and if I step on a pedal, it makes this noise. Alright, so yeah, it basically is this model right here. I used Dremel for a long time, like years, decades, and I got this thing and I will never go back to Dremel. It's rather pricey, but it will last you, again, it'll save you money. The time that it takes you to actually buff something out with this compared to a Dremel, because of the torque, is just utterly amazing. Cool. So let's see how our pieces look now. Nice. Pretty dark. I'm going to put them in front of a fan to darken them up a little bit more. A great little fan that's nice for your shop is this thing. It's a snow fan, it's called. It says it's 24 volts, but really it's running off 12 volts. So if you have just one of those little power supplies hooked to it, you'd be amazed the power of this thing just at 12 volts. I have it dangling from the ceiling and then blowing on the pieces. Now, this thing has a huge coverage and it's quiet. Oh my gosh, I can have this on 24/7 and never hear the thing. It's this light. Ooh. Got it on Amazon. When they are done, they will look like this. It's going to be very, very textury. Alright, sweet. So now you take boredom, or the Dremel, whatever you have. And I use either this one, which is kind of a soft, versus this. Okay, let me use the soft one. If you get these from Harbor Freight, well, if you use these at all, make sure you use safety glasses, but if you get them from Harbor Freight, I would get one of those face masks. These things are deadly. They go in all directions. And what I like about the boredom is you can slow it down. I'm not pressing very hard onto the metal. Actually, I'm just kind of skimming it. And you can also get this look by tumbling it in stainless steel too, if you don't want to do things by hand. So you can even skip these 2 steps and just go right to stainless steel. Cool, there's stage 1. Alright, then you switch over to the zip. When using zip, you should use a respirator. Again, not pressing hard. So you'll have like 3 stages of texture at this point.
Now,
You'll have this
clean
really
the zip
bright highlights
off of the piece.
You'll have a medium.
You can use several
and
different
then a
methods.
matte. I
And that
sort of use
is called
acetone.
depth.
That breaks it down pretty quick. But
and
without
it
the
preps
salmon
the layer
color, you
for
wouldn't
the
have the
next
third
stage
layer.
anyway.
So I just kind of dip this in acetone, then lightly take this paper towel and then towel it off. Cool. If you're doing this with a 6-inch, you get more of a flatter look. If you look right there, see it? So that's how I achieve that really weird flat look, is with that 6-inch buffer. Cool. Another way you can remove all the rouge and the nastiness from your piece, all the liver of sulfur, everything, is with this. Okay, so this is a walnut. It's walnut media, and this blasts off all the old rouge from it, but it will leave behind all the liver of sulfur, except for the stuff that's on the crystal. So let's say I have a lot on this crystal right now. You can see how dirty it is. I'll stick it in here, and I'll close the door and wear these gloves, and then sandblast the crap out of it with walnut media. Also, here's an added bonus. I have this crystal that is got liver of sulfur right here. You see that? So I'm going to include that into the sandblasting cabinet to show you what the results are after using it. Alright, so here's some finished products. This is after I walnut media blasted it. You can see that all that stain is gone that was on the crystal, but it didn't touch any of it on the metal. So this is the result of the 3 levels of polish. So having those little tiny, teeny tiny cracks and crevices that were once matte made it so all the patina is really embedded in those areas now, and you cannot. This has been washed, it's been hit with walnut media, it's been polished, and still you can see that patina stays in the cracks, and that's very important. So here's the other one. You can also see that much of the crystal doesn't have any more dirt or extra patina on it. It's cleaned off even the little tiny teeth here. So that's that walnut media. So yeah, that's how I finish pieces, and those are the results of that. The last stage I usually do, or sometimes do, is add a color layer to it. And how I do that is liver of sulfur interacts with steel. So if you use a brush with a steel collet, I sometimes use acid brushes, they're called, or these type of brushes. Alternatively, you can just brush it on and then touch it with a piece of steel wool. That's another good way to do it. But liver of sulfur and steel interact with copper to become different colors. Now, the colors are very surface. Okay, so for example, if I went to go surf or put a clear coat over the top of it, like Protect-A-Clear, it would just dull down the finish. So this is a very surface level color. If you're using a really good formula for liver of sulfur, it should sink in very well as long as you let it set for a while. But if you go to clear coat that, you will not get those reds and sometimes purples to show up, because on the very surface of this copper is a little tiny, we'll think of them as mirrors, okay? They're crystals, but they're mirrors. on different angles. And what we're looking at is mirrors at different angles. Very, very tiny surface. Okay? If you were to pour liquid Protect-A-Clear, for example, into the cracks and crevices of those mirrors, it would change the angle of the mirror. And that's why the surface always looks, muddied, because you now took those angles and dulled them down. That's why whenever you see the flame-colored copper and their awesome color, and you go to put something like Protect-A-Clear on it, and it looks like mud, yeah. So, if you're going to do surface color, just, make sure that it's probably not going to stay that color. Over time, the environment's going to take these colors and change them. But still looks darn cool. Alright, so the last part, if I wanted to bring back just small highlights every once in a while with the color, again, steel wool. 0.0000 steel wool. Lightly just go over the piece, and then you'll have a color layer, you'll have all kinds of different layers in there. Okay, sweet. Some things, just before I leave is, you have so many available things on the market nowadays. So, for example, these are priceless. They are called dental burstins. Okay, these are really nice for working with zip. These are invaluable, the puffy ones. You also get, and this is a mix from Amazon, you also get these, which aren't so good, and these were downright amazing too. If you wanted to maybe skip the zip part, you could use one of these instead. Not to mention there's about 1 million different rouges out there, and I've tried about 6 of them, I think, altogether so far. I do like the cheap crap from Harbor Freight and Zip, so I'll save you some money there. Cool. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. You have fun.